Roll up, get your tickets to Clown World. All you need is a memory wipe, a life review, and a few false light beings. And you're back here on Planet Crazy. Welcome, guys. Just waiting for a few people to come on. As always, this part is really awkward because I'm talking to myself. I'm not sure where we are on the time zones. Should be nighttime in Europe. We got one person on, 26,000 subscribers, one solitary person. Not Shadowban that much. Don't forget, guys, to like the video if you're watching this back on the replay, and if you'd like to work with me, check out my website transcendingtimes.org, where you'll also find details of my etheric interference removal course if you would like to join to help bust up the matrix and these entities and manage your own energy. So we've got a few more people on here now. So, yeah, hi Christine, hi Davran, hi Quran, 3 p.m. in Ohio. Yeah, it's 1 p.m. where I am now. It's a bit of a sporadic one. What Chelation protocol do you use? I don't even know what Chelation is. Maybe you could explain what that is and I could answer. But how is everyone? How is everyone doing out there? What is it like in your area? Hopefully there's no data centers being built or anything like that. Don't forget to ask questions, guys. So as you can see, I've got quite a nice view behind me. I'm in a different part of Mexico at the moment. So it's nice and tranquil, as they say here. So yeah, Europe should be up right now. Europe, maybe Australia starting to wake up. There's so much going on right now. Where do you even start? Don't forget to hit the like, by the way, guys. As always, helps me out a lot. Oh, heavy metal detox. Okay, so yeah, I mean that brings me on to a good topic to start with. In the fact that we should all really be doing heavy metal detoxes. So this new Hunter virus, the new one on the block, although they are flip-flopping back to meningitis, and I even saw monkeypox mentioned this morning. It feels like it's a case of throw as much mud at the wall and hopefully some of it sticks. That's what it kind of feels like right now. But yeah, I made a video the other day about this hantavirus. Now, I think that, I mean, obviously it's not what they're telling us it is, but every time they have raised or increased the frequency of the planet, there has been a new illness, even all the way back from radio waves, and we've gone up and up and up from there. 3G, 4G, 5G. We had COVID on the 5G, and now we've got this new thing. And interestingly enough, they had the 6G towers on the cruise ships where people started to get sick. And of course, what they're doing is they're saying it's rats, when in reality it's the frequency change. And so what's going to happen is that this is going to interface with all the junk, the heavy metals in people's bodies. Particularly those that took the poison dart, and of course people are going to get sick and they're going to die. So we may see some deaths here, but of course what with the chemtrails is that a lot of people have this stuff in them anyway. You know, this is the thing, this whole bullshit about free will and consent. You know, you hear that a lot. Well, I just won't consent. Well, they don't really care about that. Like, I didn't consent to be sprayed. I didn't consent to a lot of this stuff, but they just do it anyway. I'm sure this whole consent thing is just another idea put out there just to keep us passive and suppress that righteous anger. And in the end, probably what it needs is physical action. I'm hearing that these data centers, people are voting again. I mean, they're voting. I mean, when has a vote ever changed anything? So we're going back to voting for something that they're going to do anyway, when in reality, what people need to do probably in their communities is get together. Some people need to get to these order followers that are protecting these places, and it needs direct physical action. So, anyway, going back on to what you were talking about with the heavy metals, so that's in everyone probably to some degree or another, depending on where you are uh, and how much they spray. Is that we all need to be doing heavy metal detoxes. And I use my healing videos. That's one thing that I use. There's specific ones around heavy metals where the frequencies I've embedded within those videos help to clear that stuff. Um, Other than that, I would use. I don't know if I can say it. Last time I said it, an entire video got taken down and I got a strike. And I actually mentioned it on Robert's video, um, skeptical podcasts, and his entire channel got taken down. But it starts with C, and then there's the letter after C, and then there's an S, protocol. And yeah, if you go to my BitChute and type that in, you'll find the protocol for that. But those would be and of course I do fasting as well, where I just won't eat for a couple of days. But I think it's just doing like the best you can. It's getting as much out as possible, and just saunas as well. Saunas, sweating. Um, a good sweat is going to help clear all of that, or not all of it, at least some of it. Have we got any more questions? We got 47 people in here. Because I don't know if this is frozen because I'm in a different place where the Wi-Fi is not good. So don't forget, guys, to ask your questions in the chat, because otherwise I'm just going to go off on random tangents about stuff. Let me know what it's like where you are. How are things where you are? Hi, Paolo. Hope you're doing good. Thanks for the advice on the diet. Paolo's given me some really good ideas on the carnivore diet. So, Pink Tourmaline, hey man, how's it going? In the middle of reading your book. Oh, interesting. Which book? Are You Living or Just Existing? Yeah, that was, guys, Pink Tourmaline is well worth checking out. He's like me. He's just trying to find out what the F's going on. Basically, that's what we're all trying to do. But he's got a keen eye as well. He goes through things with a fine tooth comb as well, which I really like. Actually, I found a review that he did of one of my videos. That's how I found him. I thought he was going to absolutely, I don't know, go into like what he didn't. But it was a very measured review, and I actually watched the whole thing, and I really liked how he did it. So I'm going on his channel next week. We're going to have a chat. But yeah, the Are You Living Just Existing book, I actually wrote that like well, it must have been like maybe 6 years ago, and I've actually changed some of the things that I feel about that now with new information. So probably going to update that one soon anyway. Um, what are your thoughts on Darius J. Wright? Yeah, I don't like him. Well, first of all, I just don't like his energy. Um, he blew up really quickly. I've done a review on him. Eva, is it Eva or Iva? Sorry if I pronounced and messed that up completely. Um, I reviewed him maybe 2 or 3 years ago because he just came out the gates out of nowhere. It's always a big red flag because his channel just had like 50,000 subscribers overnight. Right, that's a big red flag. And he was on all the big major podcasts. talking about his astral travels and all of this stuff, right? So for me, I was like, who is this guy? And then I think straight off the bat on one of his videos, he's got the monarch butterfly. Monarch is the symbol of mind control. And then he was just talking about, there is no soul trap. You create it with your own mind and all of this nonsense, right? So people now are taking on that belief that, well, there is no soul trap, soul trick. Let's call it soul trick. And it's just something people are creating with their own minds, which is absolute rubbish. I forgot everything that he says. I need to go back and look at what he's saying again. But in that video, I really break down with a fine tooth comb, stuff that he's saying, and it's all about the whole, well, just think positive, and it's not going to affect you, and all of it. It's basically spiritually bypassing. So, but if you go back on the review I did of him, you'll see it in more detail there. But anyone like that gets pushed really quickly and blows up really quickly needs to be looked at with a fine tooth comb, because it's probably being pushed, the algorithm's being pushed, and that kind of thing. These are the red flags that we need to look for, guys, with people. So we've always got to have that discernment at the forefront of our minds, especially when someone's super popular very quickly. So I'm talking about Darius J. Wright, TG. Hello from Croatia. Hello, Croatia. Hello, Italy. Yeah, we've got a lot of Europeans in, which was my thinking when I jumped on. I thought, well, Europe will be just settling down for the evening. I really want to go Croatia. That's one of the places that I've never managed to get to on that coast there. And of course, Italy is beautiful. Lovely Mexicans. Yeah, all Mexicans are lovely. I mean, I just think that there's something about Mexican people that are just really, just really warm, really welcoming, really inclusive. Like they literally welcome everyone into their culture. They really do. Um, I mean, they've got their downfalls as well, like all cultures. Um, but in general, they're just beautiful people. Very open-hearted. Um, they want to invite you everywhere. They want to invite you for dinner. I went for breakfast in this place where I'm living now. I went somewhere new, and I just asked this table of people for a menu. Next thing I know, I'm sitting with like 7 or 8 of them, and they're inviting me here, they're inviting me there, they're inviting me to go to Zumba classes and all of this stuff, which I wouldn't do because I'm British and we can't dance. As you Brits will know, our hips do lie when we try and dance. So I may be giving that a swerve. But yeah, here I'm on the coast of Oaxaca, which is kind of the town I'm in is a little bit hippie, I guess you would say, but it's not new age like Tulum. Tulum's like the worst. All the new agers go there, like, pretending to be spiritual, where they'll do yoga classes in the morning and then they'll take cocaine in the evening, just like these new age hypocrites. Guys, hit the like. We got 14 likes, 67 people. Just takes 2 seconds. Oh, here we go with the vegans. If you're a carnivore, then carcasses raise your appetite. I'm not sure what you mean by that. We're all humans. Humans are. It's part of our species-specific diet. You can't change it. I've tried. Trust me. I've tried. I tried them all. I tried fruitarian. I was fruitarian for a week, and I nearly floated away. I was so ungrounded. And I don't need to go into like the story again because it's all on here, where I got sick, I lost my memory, or I was losing my memory, and all of this stuff. So you can go back on those. All you need to do, right, is go back to my videos 5 or 6 years ago where I was vegan, and I look like a skeleton. That's all you need to do. Like, I look sick, and I was sick because I'd reached end stage veganism very quickly because I work out a lot. Okay, so let's get away from that topic. We don't need to go into that today. What are your thoughts of Max Lowen? Unbroken. She is an SRA survivor. I've not heard of her, Teresa, so I couldn't give you a comment on that. Some of the SRA survivors aren't who they say they are. So, like all parts of the alternative media, these psychopaths have their gatekeepers and their shields to direct people into the direction they want them to go. So, I don't know about her, so I can't comment. Silent Walk, hi Canada. What's it like up there right now? My best mate is living up there. He's prepping. He's got he's growing his food. He's hunting. He's fishing and putting them in freezers. He's proper organised. More organised than me. Actually, he inspired me to move where I was. I had a conversation with him. He was like, "Oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this." I thought, man, I've been warning people of this for like 15 years, and I'm like the least prepared. It's like he actually inspired me. He's what I call embodying sovereignty. You know, he knows what's going on. He's not like not you guys. Most people on YouTube are kind of in their sovereign frequency, but on my Facebook, I constantly get people going, "What's the solution? Well, what's the solution? Well, what's the solution? What's the solution then?" Well, I'm in Mexico and you're in America, or you're in the UK, or you're in Australia or Africa. Like, your solution's very much different to my solution. And people that just sit around asking what the solution is, like, that's the same as waiting for a politician to tell you what to do. Like, you've not changed. Do you know what I mean? You're still waiting on people to tell you what to do. And that's why people don't like sovereignty, because it requires them to get out of their comfort zone. It requires them to take action. It requires them to make difficult decisions. It requires them to do and say things that they may not really want to do. It's like when I moved, I was like, I really couldn't be bothered. Like, really, I was like, oh, I was quite comfortable where I was. But it's like, well, when you know what's happening, I needed to make different moves. I needed to make different moves for myself, and the same in your communities, same where you are. If you've got kids, your solution's going to be different to my solution. I purposely have not had children because it's hard enough just looking after me. It's why I've never had pets as well, because I just don't know. I'm here, there, and everywhere, and I just can't. The responsibility of just putting and getting this information out for people means that I don't want that added extra responsibility of already having to do a difficult job, But other people are different. Like, for them, they have the time and um, yeah, the resources and just the space to do that. So when people are asking what's the solution, it's completely different wherever you are. It's a question that really bugs me, because it's like, why is someone just on YouTube who's talking supposed to work out what is best for you and your community and your family? It's like, what's wrong with you? Not anyone personally here. It's just, I hear it all the time, and you can tell straight away that that person's not sovereign. They're not embodying sovereign energy. Someone who's sovereign would be like, okay, I know this is going on. I know this is going on. I know this is going on. So I am going to do this, and this to combat that, you know. And the same applies for when you pass, when you die. This is why people need to get this right now, because what are you going to do when you die if you're not sovereign? You're going to be misled by these entities, by these false light beings, by God, Jesus, whatever, because you want someone to make decisions for you. Um, And another thing, while I'm on the topic, is the whole I can never say this word right. Pedalization of people, even in the alternative media, is a big one. You should never pedalize anyone, ever. Everyone, and this is a whole hierarchical nature that we have, you know. We have it here with uh you know, even when we're working, we have bosses, managers and senior managers, and you know, it's hierarchy after hierarchy after hierarchy, and then you have you know, the slaves and politicians, prime ministers, and then when you die, you have the guys, the elders, Jesus, God. So we're always like, we always perceive ourselves to be at the bottom of this pyramid. But I've noticed a lot, especially with the last video that I made about David Icke. There's a lot of people that have got people on pedestals there, and that's where you can easily get misled, because if the person that you follow, and I include myself in this, right? If there's a time where I just swiftly change what I'm talking about, um, you know, or I suddenly start promoting things that I never normally promoted it without like real evidence. Like let's say for example, like next week I start saying, "Oh, you know what? It's not so bad if you channel information." Like, that's a red flag, right? You should be prepared to walk. Should be prepared to walk from anyone. Doesn't matter if they're David Icke. Doesn't matter if it's me. Doesn't matter if it's whoever, right? But in the comments in that video, and you can go back at that video and look at the comments, you'll see a lot of people. They were angry with me, angry, like like to the point where I could almost feel their energy. They were like almost in tears that I'd said something bad about David Icke, right? And that's not healthy. It's really not healthy, because you then have got someone on a pedestal. And the thing is, when you have someone on a pedestal, they are beyond question. This is where the danger is when you have someone on a pedestal. When someone is on a pedestal, that means that they are beyond question in your eyes. Nobody can question them, not even you. And if that person is beyond question, that means you're in a cult. You have put yourself in a cult like mentality. And if you put yourself in a cult like mentality, if and when there is a rug pull, you're over a cliff face. And I saw that was one of the things that I saw, where there's a few people out there that need to look at that. You need to look and think, is that sovereign? And don't get me wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with getting help or taking on information or anything like that. You know, I have people that help me, and I talk to people about diets, and you know, I have someone that I do my inner work with and stuff, and um, you know, I listen to information. I listen to a lot of information, but the discernment's always at the forefront. Um, the switch and bait, you know, and that's it's very important to always have that. No one should be beyond question. And I laid out very articulate points as to why I thought David Icke was not who we think he is, and that is aside from my own personal experience with the people around him, which I've spoken about in other videos. Um, just aside from that alone, I laid out points for people that haven't been threatened, right? um, and so it wasn't like and it's taken me like 16 years to make a video on David Icke. So it's not like I'm there hammering him. It's just I got to the point where I felt I had to say something now, because these people are, in my eyes, intentionally being led down a garden path with Elizabeth April, with um, Isabella Green, and these other people that are being promoted. Um, and so it got to the point where I felt deep down within my essence, my spirit, now is the time to make a video. And I knew that it would be controversial because I know a lot. I mean, he woke me up, right? He woke me up. I wouldn't be here without him starting the journey, right? 16 years ago, I stumbled on his videos on YouTube, and to this day, the whole like the caring what people thought of me, like I lost that partly due to him saying it, right? So it's taken me a long time to really pin my colours to the mast in that sense. But the point is, I'm always ready. I'm always ready to walk away if I need to get if it gets to that point where it's like nah 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 nah, then I'll walk away. And everyone should be like that. So that's the problem with putting people on pedestals. So anyway, guys, we've got 94 people on here, 32 likes. Don't forget to hit the like. I'm going to go back to your questions now. I've had a little ramble. Um, Poland Online. Hi, Poland. Tyson the New Cager. Who's this? Love has no problem with me. It's me who has a problem with love, Mike Tyson. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about. One thing I was thinking about earlier today is yeah, David Icke says sells Tesla machines now. Jeff Berwick. That's the point. Attached to someone, then you get the rug pull, demoralization. It really does demoralize people. Another one is the Rupert Lowe cult. There probably won't be many Rupert Lowe cult members on this stream because people on my YouTube have gone beyond the realm of politicians saving them. Thank God. Oh, I shouldn't say thank God. Old habits die hard, right? But the Rupert Lowe cult, he did a video the other day, and he's got Solomon's Temple behind him, which is Freemasonic. You know, where it has the checkerboard floor at the bottom, which symbolic of base consciousness, and the pillars, boas, and the other one I forget what it's called, which symbolic of the left brain and the right brain, and then the all-seeing eye at the top, symbolic of. He's got that behind him on an interview that he does, and I caught it. Obviously, I posted it on my Facebook. You want to see an outpouring of disappointment and people absolutely hating me because of calling him out. But it's kind of like deflating a balloon. Like when people's favorite truther isn't who they think he or she is. What's with all the Mike Tyson quotes here? He's become some kind of spiritual guru, has he? Yeah. So what I was thinking earlier is, yeah, Kerry Cassidy is another one. She's pushing the whole. Didn't she push like QAnon and Savior program? So, like I said before, right? Any anyone that's pushing a Savior program or appeal to authority. What's the appeal to authority? Petitions, protesting. And someone said to me in the comments about Ike, well, all he does is promote sovereignty, Tony. What are you talking about? Well, he's on the front line of a march with a big banner, right? That's not sovereign. It's not sovereign behavior. Anyway, I've covered that a lot the last few weeks, so I probably don't need to talk about that again. Pink Tourmaline, yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't have kids and never wanted them for that same reason. Yeah, I never felt like, and this isn't a slant for people that have kids or did want kids. I think a lot of us in this alternative media, we intuitively knew that it probably wasn't a good idea to bring kids into this world, especially not now. So I'm with you on that one. Yeah, you got to get up off your ass and do it and make change. Canadian Glitch, he's my best mate. We've been mates for donkey's years now, and he's done that. You know, he inspired me. We inspire each other. I love like our conversations, our phone calls are so sovereign. Like, I said it before on another feed. Like, he'll call me up and he'll be like, Tone, right? I've been doing this. I've been growing like lettuce, but I'm thinking about growing tomatoes. and I've got lessons for guns to learn how to shoot and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm growing tomatoes. I'm thinking about strawberries and potatoes and and then he's got a backup plan to where to go. Like it's just. But he's prepared, you know. I mean, this isn't fear. Like, hopefully, he doesn't need any of this. Hopefully, I don't need any of this. But when you know, right? It's like you'd be silly to know all. This is the thing. People sit here, not here specifically, but on they'll sit on YouTube or they'll sit on TikTok and Instagram, and they'll consume all this information for hours and hours and hours and hours and end. But then they'll be like, "Well, what's the solution?" It's like, do you know what I mean? Not everyone, right? But this is what I mean about anti-sovereign behavior. It's like consuming all this knowledge, right? They'll have all the knowledge of what's going on, and you know, but then they won't do anything. Like knowledge is pointless if you don't act on it. You have to act on it. This lifetime, next lifetime. It's like the people that say, "Oh, you can't know what happens when you die." I can't stand those comments. Nobody can know. They say. You know when people say you can't know the truth. You know that's intentionally put out there by the New Cage movement to stop you in your tracks. Because if you take on the belief system that you cannot know the truth, then you're not going to go any further. It's perfect mind control, um, and it's very much put out. It's said a lot when it comes to the soul trick. What happens when you die? Oh well, you can't know. No one can know. I mean, that's just so lazy. It's so lazy, in my opinion, to have that belief that you can't. I mean, let's have a look. You've got NDEs. Just if you went on my channel alone and subscribed to my channel and looked at the content around the NDEs, the astral travelers, lucid dreaming, the frequency fence, um, like all you'd need to do is go through my channel, right? But then you've got all the other information that's out there as well. You could just go onto Jeff Mara's channel and look at what's going on with the NDEs there. You got Tibetan Book of the Dead, Egyptian Book of the Dead. Like you can know stuff, right? This lifetime and next, and for what happens when we pass over. So again, it's like laziness, anti-sovereign. Oh well, you can't know. No one can know. All right. Well, if you take on that example, if you take on that belief, you enjoy the next 1,000 lifetimes of reincarnation, because at this point, that's how important it is. And to say something like that, to say something as ignorant as, "Oh, no one can know what happens when you die," those people are coming back, guys. Those people are coming back. See, this is what I like about this community in particular. You know, I've got my Facebook community and TikTok and all of that, but you guys, like you're what most of you anyway, aside from the David Icke pedestal people, are sovereign. You know, you've really gone deep, deep, deep down the rabbit holes. You've gone down all the crevices. Um, so when I'm talking on these lives, I feel like I'm talking to people that truly get it. You know, and welcome to the people that are new. Also, you know, it's a lot of people have come over from the New Age, New Cage. I mean, the amount of people that I work with. It's funny, you know, people that have sessions with me and stuff, and it's like when they get on, it's like they're almost embarrassed because people like they like to start. We start with like how they found me and all that stuff, and it's always like I was into the Galactic Federation. I can't believe I was into Elizabeth April. Tony, I was listening to Bashar for 5 years, and then I found your video. But there should never be any embarrassment, or you should never feel bad, because the New Age is such a clever trick. You know, it really is. Bashir or Bashar. I cannot stand I need to do a live where we just go through all the. Do you know who else appeared on my feed? Eldora and Simon. Eldora and Simon appeared on my feed. Get this, guys. Get this. What on their Instagram, on my Instagram. I don't know why the algorithm recommended, right? But I went on to their page for shits and giggles, and Simon, he's whipped by her. You could just tell he's completely whipped by her. She's very dominant in that relationship, I would imagine. But he was talking about how there's going to be food shortages, but how it's going to be like the universe's way of separating like the ascended people from the non-ascended, like just trying to explain these food shortages and starvation away as some kind of good thing that the universe has planned for us. You got to go if you want a good laugh, right? If you're feeling down, just go on Instagram, find Simon and Eldora and Simon, and just go on their Instagram and just look at the horse shit that they're pushing out still. The 5D Earth is working. That was it. That was it. He said yeah, that was it. To those exact words. Cheers, mate. He said, right, that starvation was the 5D Earth working its magic. Can you believe that? Talk about smoking the copium crack pipe. Do you think there's any on earth who's at Jesus' caliber? I mean, I don't even believe Jesus ever existed. He's just a caricature that the Matrix invented. It's just a savior program. I mean, there may be an argument for like Christ consciousness. I mean, I think the main aim for people is sovereignty. I just think they don't want people in their sovereign frequency. It's a frequency. It's not just a behavior. It's something you embody. It's something that you carry around. Like it's something people can feel. And again, I say it all the time. This is why they use their kings and queens and call them sovereign. It's another inversion of what we are, or what we should be. And talking about like fake sovereignty, did you see Charles and Prince Charles, who's a pedo? Oh, he's King Charles now, isn't he? He was best friends with Jimmy Savile, who's like the worst pedo ever. And he was also a necrophiliac. He used to sleep with dead bodies. That was his best mate. And he's telling people in a crown of jewels, dripping with jewels and bling and diamonds. He's telling people that he's going to instruct his other pedos in Parliament to introduce digital ID. You cannot make this stuff up, can you? It's like, but yes, it's all about sovereignty again. I would say that's where they don't want people. That's why they want people marching. That's why they want people signing petitions, because boom, you're out of your sovereignty. Said it time and again. Charles is supporting Muslims. I don't know. All the Muslim stuff's heavily pushed. They want people hating Muslims. I'm not saying that particular branch of religion is any better than the others, but we know who the real perpetrators are. Why do people not speak about those? They want people focusing on that faction of society while they go running off with the swag bag. So let's have a look at more of your questions. 5:30 in Australia. Good day, mate. Good day. How's the fuel situation in Australia? We were hearing that you guys would be running out of fuel within a couple of weeks. That was about a month ago. Are you noticing anything there? Canada. Got a lot of Canadians down here, snowbirds. Thoughts on transgenderism? Well, it's an agenda, isn't it? Teaching kids that they can be one of 100 different genders, having these transvestites come and speak to them at schools. And then you got people justifying all of this. I was in a group, they're doing it here in Mexico, and I spoke up about it, and they're like, look, I was like, well, what about the Aztecs and the ancient? How would they feel about, people going into these drag queens going into schools teaching kids that they can be pansexual and all this stuff? But it's just evil. It's just satanic. And it's all about like confusing the sexes, so no one really knows how they're supposed to act. And then it's all about destroying the family unit, and we've had that with like toxic. They say toxic masculinity is toxic, and then you got feminism, like, and then you got all this trans stuff. They're just trying to confuse and contort and invert everything, so everyone's confused and no one's in their natural essence. It's like the new age. They want men to be more feminine. No, actually, we need men to be masculine. There's not enough masculinity in the world by design, because if men were in their masculine, they wouldn't allow this shit. And that's why they put like estrogen in all the food, the female hormone. It's all estrogen is in alcohol. They want men being women, women being men, children being pan, and identifying as a cat or a dog. It's just clown world, isn't it? Can you invite Gordon Vlamsty? He's been banned from YouTube. He has some information I've never seen. I've never heard of him. If he's been banned, then that's probably a good sign, or shadow banned. So far, no drama with fuel in cities. Not heard about country areas. Oh, that's good. But they keep blowing up these oil refineries around the world. Like every week, there's one blowing up. There's been two. We've only got we had 8 here in Mexico. 2 blew up in the last couple of months. That's a great backdrop. Yeah, I thought you guys would like it. Thank you for the energy clearance. It was subtly successful. Sovereignty is a frequency. I feel like there's shifts maybe to timelines. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd like to think that one day we'd all wake up in the new Earth, in the 5D, where starvation is, according to Eldora and Simon, starvation is the universe's way of putting us into 5D. Oh dear, I need to do some more reviews. They're the worst, those two. I just like. And then I saw, what's the other one? Jerry Sargent. Jerry Sargent came up on my feed the other day. Old Rainbow Bridge Jerry Sargent. That dude's got a huge demon inside of him. He's like, I had a client that went on a retreat with him in Egypt. Some of the prices these people charge, it's like five grand or something. I know everyone's got to make a living and stuff. I have stuff, but for this new age stuff that's completely ineffective, and people come off feeling worse, it's like. Anyway, what else we got here? We got 108 on the stream, 46 likes. Don't forget to hit the like. Yeah, this backdrop, I was in and ahhing, because I didn't know if there was going to be interference with the wind. In the last live feed I did, I was getting salty comments about my dogs. I couldn't believe it. Poor dogs. What's wrong with some of you people? It's like, they're just dogs. They're like the cutest things, but you can't please everyone. Have we got any more questions? Because I'll just end the stream if we haven't. It's gone a little bit quiet. But yeah, so Netherlands, the Lion's Den. Yeah, you got a lot of shills in the Netherlands. There's Ike's got a hander, I think, that Christine Van Winkle person, or whatever her name is. every time she's around him, he's like a nodding dog. He's like, when she's, oh, Elizabeth April's really good. Isabella Green's really good. Haswink, what is your question? Eldora and Simon are in Tulum, aren't they? Go give them a visit. They were this video that they made. They had all these. They had different. They didn't have Tulum clothes. They looked like they were in a colder country. But I bumped into them one time. I told you guys, or some of you guys, in one of the other live streams. I'll tell you the story again because it's kind of funny. But I was sitting there in a restaurant, minding my own business, eating. And I looked outside, and this was shortly after I'd done their review. It was only about 6 months after I'd done the review of them, where I completely destroyed them. And then they had some cult members contact me, or ex-cult members, saying how badly they'd been mistreated and wanted to do an interview with me, telling me their story, which you can go back on my YouTube. You can find both of them. I think I even done 2 interviews with them, but they really explained like how bad Eldora and Simon were to work for. But anyway, I was sitting at the restaurant, and they were there outside, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be really awkward because they're going to come in. Obviously, they know who I am, and I know who they are. There's going to be like a standoff. Not that I'm bothered by them. I don't give a, what they think of me. So anyway, I saw her outside barking orders at him. Like he was just like completely whipped. She was like, no, and he was holding a bunch of bags for her, and she was giving him his orders. And she came in, and I was like, is she going to sit down in the same room? Because it's only a small room. And anyway, she used the bathroom. She walked straight past me. She didn't even see me, and she walked out again. But that would have been quite funny if she'd stopped and said, "Oi, like, I saw your video. What the hell were you talking about?" So yeah, funny. But that's the only time I've seen them. Are you still doing sessions? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm still doing sessions. You can contact me through my website. Go to my website, transcendingtimes.org. There's different stuff there. There's multi-dimensional timeline therapy, which is like inner work, which could go into past life stuff. And then I've got my clearing sessions, entity and implant clearing, where I would be removing all digital, synthetic, and astrological overlays, entities, etheric AI implants, grids, holographic themes, implants in relation to Saturn, Moon, sleep, astral body implants. So there's a lot that gets removed. So you can just go to my website. Obviously, there's also chakra removal there as well. Yeah, steps just to go to my website. Like I say, you can book there, or you can email me if you've got any questions, and then we just organize a time over Zoom. And yeah, they're basically over Zoom. They last about an hour. I use a combination of intention, experience, clear visual abilities, and yeah, over 10 years worth of experience, knowing where to look. Generally, people report feeling lighter, brighter, less mind chatter, definitely, because a lot of our mind chatter is not our own. It's these entities. They're the ones like, oh, you're not good enough. No one likes you. You can't do this. No, you're a failure. Your wife's going to leave you. Whatever your wounds are, your fears are. So, yeah. I mean, of course, they don't solve all your problems. It's not like all your problems are going to go away, but it just takes the edge off things, feel a bit more lighter, brighter, more clarity, and a lot less mind chatter, quieter mind, that kind of thing. So I haven't believed David Icke since 2009. I don't know why, but I threw his books into the bin in Margate, Tasmania. Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been feeling now. This is what I said at the start of the live. It just completely. I mean, I had personal stuff go on with him as well and his team. So aside from that, you know, just the stuff that he's pushing out, talking about, and not talking about. Sometimes it's the things that people don't talk about, the gatekeeping that goes on. Like he never talks about the event that happened in the Second World War that is constantly pushed down our throats. That may not be what it seems. Never a mention about that. Never a mention about the stuff that's being sprayed. Um, never a mention about the shape of the planet. So there's certain things that he doesn't talk about, which you know is also, and I think he's copying a lot. A lot of people, like some of the things he's been saying lately. I've been like, I actually said that. Those were my actual words. And some other people in the comments said he does copy people. Like, don't get me wrong, truth doesn't belong to anyone. If I say something, it doesn't belong to me, right? It's not like I don't own the truth. But he came out the gates over the last few years about Soul Trap after myself and a few other people were talking about it quite a lot, right? Now it just seemed weird that he then suddenly rushed out with this book, and a lot of what we've been talking about, he's talking like he talked about. I think his video was "We're living in an AI." I made that exact video a month before him. You can go back, you can check the timeline of the channels. We're in an AI. I said that I was telling people about the terminology, and then he was talking about the clothes that these elders wear and stuff like. I'm like I was talking about that like 3 weeks ago. And I think that he piggybacks on a lot of what people are saying that is truth, and then he tries to rug pull people by sending them down cul-de-sacs like Elizabeth April, these new age charlatans, and Isabella Green, where she wants you to connect with serpent entities and serpent energy and kundalini and all this stuff when you pass over. It really pissed me off. That's why I made the video. I'm like, no, I've had enough of this. I'm speaking up about him now. I don't want to make this all about David Icke, but I read one book about Davidson. Someone said in his first book, he actually says that he's a reptilian, but he's on the side of God. Towards the end of one of his first books, I can't remember what book it was. Someone said in the comments, I don't know how true. I've not to be fair. I've not looked into that and to see if it's true. So it might be something that someone just said in a comment. But apparently he said it in an actual book. He also said he's Jesus. Yeah, I mean, and also he said that he got downloaded with information from these entities, which is basically channeling. So yeah, it's true. I bought his books and was recommended by Stuart Swerdlow. I've got a problem with him. I had a problem with Swerdlow because I wrote to him and he lies and and he was also around Max Spears when Max Spears died. He was very much around Max Spears. He may have been actually the last person who interviewed Max Spears, Stuart Swerdlow. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the infiltration. Like people often say to me, "Oh, Tony, not everyone's a shill." There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Like they don't mess around. They infiltrate. This whole reality is an infiltration. This whole reality has been infiltrated. This is why things are like they are. It's been infiltrated. It was never supposed to be like this. This isn't the original. It's been infiltrated. So when people say to me, "Oh, not everyone's a shill," infiltration is the nature of this reality, of this realm. This is why people have to go deeper, and people can't be attached to certain people. Have you looked into Mspiracy? Yeah, I think she's AI. And she's another one that just flew out the gates. No gurus. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, Listen to people by all means. Take on what you discern to be true. I mean, truth is objective anyway. There is only one truth. It's not subjective. This is the other thing the New Age want to tell people. You know, your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. No, that's not true. Truth is objective. It doesn't matter if you like David Icke and I don't like David Icke. David Icke is either for the good or for the bad. There is no middle ground. It doesn't matter if you want the sky to be red, it's always going to be blue. There is an objective truth in everything. This is either a soul trick or it's not. So people don't get to make up their own truth as they go along. It's a very much a New Age deception. And the deception in that lies that if you believe that truth is subjective and you can just make it up as you go along, then you can just make up things, and like you never really get anywhere, because you're basing things on how you feel. Basing things on how you feel doesn't align with what's true or not. So what do you think on bringing children into this shit place? Yeah, I kind of spoke about that earlier in the live. You might want to go back and listen to that. Are there ticks in Mexico? No, but I've heard about the ticks everywhere. Aren't they making people like allergic to meat? Can everyone hear me or not? Some people are saying the sound works. Some people are saying it doesn't work. Okay, yeah, whoever's having the problem, it's you. It's a you problem, not a me problem. Yeah, so yeah, no ticks here so far. A lot of people say there's no chemtrails in Mexico. That's not true. There are chemtrails. Maybe not as many, but there certainly are chemtrails. Tony, I'm from UK. The place looks a lot nicer there. Yeah, I mean, I'll always have a part of the UK in me, particularly the humour and the dry sense of humour. But I can't manage living there. I can't get creative. DMT, no, I wouldn't recommend it. You're just anything like that. You're smashing open your consciousness. You're opening yourself up to entities. You know, it's all. You're playing Russian roulette, and you're only going into the astral. You're going into the prison yard. You're not going beyond where I believe that we exist. And you're going to come across a load of false light beings, and they're going to give you a few half truths. I mean, the stories down the years that I have from people, not even just DMT and ayahuasca, but I had a client the other day chanting. She said, Tony, since I've been doing this chanting, I've got voices in my head. Mantras. Indian mantras, which no doubt opened her up to Hindu god entities. Meditations, I've said it before. The amount of people that I've worked with or have ended up in mental institutes or level 2 takeovers, or constant voices, suicidal voices, after going on one of these retreats, opening themselves up. All these things that you think are innocent. Even weed, you know, I made a video about it a few weeks back, and that really triggers the alternative media. Can't say a bad word about weed. Oh God. Suppressing all the unhealed emotions, the copium crack pipe. It's like, and don't get me wrong, I completely get it, right? I mean, years and years ago, I used to smoke a bit of weed. I mean, obviously, I would never do it now, but I get why people do it. I get why people use all kinds of form of escapism. I get why people are alcoholics. I get why people overeat. I get why people um, do all this. This realm is it's brutal. It's brutal. None of us asked to be here. We're all here. We don't know why we're here, how we got here, who we really are, how we get like. Do you know what I mean? None of us asked to be here. We get a lifetime full of trauma, suffering, abuse, and even if you don't, you're gonna suffer in the future. You know you're gonna have to watch your family die, your pets die. You know, like all this stuff. So I get it, right? I'm joking about it, but I get why people do it. I get why people get addicted to the new age, the hopium, the copium. I get why people are religious and want to rely and lean into God and Jesus and all this stuff. I absolutely 100% get all of it. I don't blame anyone for doing this stuff. But is it going to move the needle forward for you in terms of you getting yourself out of here and becoming, becoming a problem for the Matrix while you're here? It's not. The only way that we're going to deal with this is to face it all head on, no matter how hard it hurts. And, these things just hold us back. And then you can easily get deceived as well, because once you start opening yourself up, you're opening yourself up to entities when you're smoking weed and taking ayahuasca and DMT. Once those entities attach, they're going to influence your thoughts and your behavior. And like the biggest hate that I get, and I get a lot of hate, just by the nature of the things that I talk about, just by the people and the things that I call out, I've got whole sectors of people that hate me, right? I mean, that's not the point, but those entities will then work through people, ayahuasca entities, serpent entities, and they'll start influencing what you believe and what you think about things. They'll start getting into your head, and where you should be going left, you go right, because these voices and these entities, you've got so many of them attached, are starting to pull you to a direction you shouldn't be going into. And so it all seems quite innocent, but they're harvesting your energy, and they're going to influence your behavior and your thoughts about things. I mean, why do you think all the people that took the poke in the arm completely changed in terms of their characteristics, and they became angrier and they're not the same? It's because injecting them would have opened a hornet's nest, physically, energetically, and yeah, they're cold now. But yeah, the biggest hate that I get from any sector of the alternative media is from the ayahuasca and plant medicine community, because they're the ones that they smash open their consciousness regularly. I mean, you only have to look at some of these new ages. You think watching these videos is innocent with these new age new cages. Some of them are, they're working with false light frequency. They're working off the false light frequency grid. This is why when people are in the new age, they're like this. No, 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 no. They're under a spell. We got to be on it. We've got to be on point. Sovereign in our sovereign, and all that stuff takes you out of your sovereignty, because instead of a savior, instead of leaning into Jesus, guides, angels, you're leaning into weed. You're leaning into out. You're leaning into escapism. So people are weak. Yeah, I mean, I understand why people are weak. That's the thing. Once you understand the nature of this realm, how evil and how difficult it is for people, I understand the weakness in people. Um, and this is why, again, it's important to become sovereign, because you then become stronger internally. And this is why sovereignty is the answer, because if you have a society of weak people who aren't sovereign, who are looking for saviors, copium, smoking the copium and the hopium crack pipe, those people are easily enslaved. Those people are easily, um, they're going to bow down, they're going to acquiesce. But once you got someone in sovereignty, they're not going to do any of that. They're going to laugh at that. Then they're not going to sign petitions. They're not going to go out and shout at empty buildings when politicians are not there. They're just going to say, F you. I ain't doing that. And they're going to laugh at it. And petitions themselves are laughable, particularly when they get laughed at. That one on their digital ID. I mean, it had the most amount of signatures in history. And then David Icke shares another one about them giving newborns digital ID or something. I could not believe it. I was like, we have just had the most popular petition ever rejected out of hand, laughed at, literally laughed at. And here you are, human race, get off your knees, he says, go sign this petition. Words and actions, guys. The actions don't match the words. It's all very well saying, human race, get off your knees, but you cannot then go around sharing petitions and standing at the front lines of protests. So David Wilcox, yeah, I mean, he was pushing QAnon and all the alien stuff. I'm hungry. What time is it? I'm getting hungry. Oh dear. I mean, David Wilcox was on Gaia TV. I mean, that should be your first red flag. Anyone that's on Gaia TV, you should be walking away from immediately. But that's like a double psyop, you know. It's like, oh, he might have been murdered, right? To get people to believe, well, that means the alien agenda must be true. You see what I mean? It's like a double play. They're very clever. You know, it's like the same way they say the mainstream media are after Trump when they're not. They're just they're painting that picture to make the diet woke think, well, Trump must be telling the truth then. Lots of shit sandwiches out there, yeah. It's all one big shit sandwich, guys. Kind of a Q&A, it's kind of a ramble, yeah. Psyops within psyops, yeah. That's why you got to be so sharp on all of this, and that's why when you're taking all this weed and all that, it dampens your discernment. You know, your neocortex and the central part of your brain, when you smoke weed, it becomes uncentered, unbalanced, and alcohol. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up. But it's been nice. Sitting out here on the balcony talking to you guys. Don't forget to share this video around. I took some gummy bears to help me sleep. Bad idea. Yeah, I took them back in the day. I was knocked out for 2 days. Yeah, demonic dreams. Yeah, they do, because you're more easily infiltrated. Your energy. What's for tea? Are you a northerner? Just a thought, because us southerners, we say what's for dinner. Tea is something you drink in a mug. So I'm thinking you're from the north of England somewhere. Come on, reveal where you are. You're a northerner. Just a thought. 1912. I put £1,000,000 that you're from up north somewhere. Come on, reveal yourself. She might be, or he might be, timid. Northern, yes. All right, you don't need to say what town. Yeah, yeah. I never understand that. Tea is something you drink in a mug, but not for those of you that aren't from the UK. The Northerners call dinner is what your meal is at night. They call it tea, but they call tea, and they call pans that you wash up pots. Yeah, we say dinner. Oh, you say tea in Australia as well. Yeah, but you're upside down there anyway. Supposedly, if you believe the globe Earth, supposedly you're on your heads. Oh dear. I like the way we go from entity attachments to food, dinner, tea. I tell you what, I couldn't live anywhere else now. The food here in Mexico is just too good. It's ridiculous. Like all the produce is really fresh as well. The tea is spilling. So for 2026, what's your thought? What's your thoughts on the vibe? What's your thoughts on the vibe of 2026? The vibe is more clownage. The vibes is more clown for 2026. I'm in Vegas. Our food sucks. Oh, you know what, right? I've been to America once. My parents love them, brainwashed as they were and are probably a little bit more. Took me to Disneyland. I only went back one other time where I had to do a stopover in Fort Lauderdale, and it was coming back to Mexico. But there was like a layover of a couple of hours. So we the person my ex who I was with at the time, we got this pizza in this airport, and my stomach for 2 or 3 days just felt awful. So I really feel sorry for you guys up there with the food that you have to deal with. It's all genetically modified, obviously, which changes your DNA. But yeah, that was not good. Yeah. Same old vibe, clown vibes. The only truth is a good cheesecake. Oh yeah, you can't beat a good cheesecake. Oh yeah, here they have incredible food. Just everything they do everything so good here. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it up. But it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this live, guys. Keep smiling, because remember, every time you smile, a reptilian goes hungry. And don't forget, if you like to work with me, check out my website, transcendingtimes.org. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Take care.